Welcome to another episode, everyone. Well, let's get into how Tupac's murder sparked a gang war that lasted just a little while, just a couple of weeks. These individuals were going back and forth, but a lot of people lost their lives just in those few days over Pac's murder. Who was it that got into it? What gangs was it? Who had Tupac's death who had Tupac's back to the point where they went and committed homicides in the name of his honor, in the name of his death? Check it out.
1996 in Las Vegas, the murder of Tupac Shakur. What followed it, you described as 10 days of hell in Compton.
Correct.
We, the homies, everybody had a meeting, got down together, and we know who did it. We know Southside did it. We decided basically his own. They just killed Tupac.
On September 9th.
Damn. The Southside did it. That was Mob James. He said that some time ago on Vlad TV during the interview. I don't know. I don't want no problems with Mob James. I'm just saying, though. These dudes been on the internet talking. The Southside did it. We had a meeting, he said, and we know the Southside did it. When he say we, he's referring to the Power Rules. That's where he's from. Said we had a meeting. And we already know the Southside did it, so we said what we going to do about it. And then there's 10 days of hell, as that officer had indicated. It was 10 days of hell in Compton following Tupac's death. Many other individuals ended up dead.
1996, 2 days after Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, a gray sedan rolled down Alondra Boulevard in Compton and opened fire near the 99-cent store at 2430 East Alondra. The target was Darnell Brim, a senior shot caller of the Southside Compton Crips. 5 bullets in the back.
Well, the first shooting took place 2 days after, and one of the main players of Southside, Darnell Brim.
The second person hit was a 10-year-old girl named Lakiju McNeese. Police listed her in critical condition. Brim wasn't even in Las Vegas the night Tupac was shot, but this war didn't start in Las Vegas. It started in a Foot Locker 2 months earlier. So what turned a stolen chain into 12 shootings and 3 deaths? Let's get into it. Trevon Trey Lane was Mob Peru and close to Death Row Records. The relationship between Mob Peru and Death Row wasn't a soft affiliation. Suge Knight came from the same streets his label was built on.
That would be Mob Pyru, not Mob Peru. Clearly this is AI. Doesn't mean he doesn't have all of the information, though. Whoever put this together has the information. They just had AI narrate it instead of them doing it themselves, being lazy. But I'm here for you. I'm here to do it for you. Okay, Mob Pyru.
Mob Peru members worked.
But okay, as we can already see, 2 days after Pac's murder, an individual from Southside Compton Crip, supposed to be a reputable member over there, an OG over there, was taken out, shot in the back or what have you 5 times. 2 days after Pac's murder, he was taken out.
Death Row Security handled label business on the street side and moved in the same circles as Knight's artists. The medallion around Lane's neck was proof of where he stood in that world. A gold Death Row Records logo pendant, a personal gift from Suge Knight.
Out of all, Suge homies or his homies from the mob, Trey was one of the closest to us. He used to come to the house that we had in the valley.
In July 1996, Lane was at the Foot Locker inside Lakewood Center Mall in Lakewood, California, when a crew of Southside Compton Crips approached him. The Southside Crips and Mob Peru had been enemies for years. Their territories ran directly adjacent. In Compton, separated by nothing more than street designations and the memory of every prior shooting between them. Among the Crips that walked up was a 21-year-old named Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. According to informants who later spoke to Compton detective Tim Brennan, a bounty was circulating on the street, a cash reward for anyone who could take a Death Row medallion off a Peru. Whether Anderson was moving on that bounty or just making a power move in the moment, the medallion came off Lane's neck. Lane went back to Suge Knight with the information. Orlando Teve, Baby Lane Anderson, was born on August 13, 1974. He grew up in Southside Compton Crips territory, the same streets along Alondra and Brandfield that would become the front lines of the 10-Day War. His uncle was Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, one of the organization's senior figures, a man who moved between Compton street operations and Las Vegas when the occasion called for it. He was 21 the day he walked up on Trevon Lane in that Foot Locker. He would be 21 still at the MGM Grand. The death row camp came to Las Vegas for the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon WBA heavyweight title fight at the MGM Grand. Suge Knight was there. Tupac was there. So was Trevon Lane. The fight lasted less than 2 minutes. Tyson knocked Seldon down in round 1, and Seldon didn't recover. As the crowd streamed out of the arena and into the hotel lobby, Trevon Lane spotted a familiar face. Orlando Anderson was standing in the lobby alone. Lane leaned in and told Tupac. Security cameras captured what happened next. Tupac crossed the lobby, walked directly at Anderson, asked him, according to multiple accounts, "You from the South?" and threw the first punch. Anderson went to the floor. The death row entourage came in immediately. Tupac, Suge, and multiple Mob Piru members who had made the trip as security. At least 5 men were on Anderson while he was on the ground.
Piru, man, Piru, not Piru. Yeah, this was indeed a fateful situation and a fateful day for Tupac Shakur, as we all know. Rest in peace to Tupac Shakur. We all know the story about what happened at the Lakewood Mall, that this individual had his chain snatched, and this is what precipitated everything. And of course, many individuals just said that Tupac overstepped his boundaries. I'm the biggest fan of Tupac that there may be in the world, actually, still to this day. His death actually hurts me for someone that I've never met, still to this day. And many individuals just do believe that because he was not a gang member. He was a thug, if you will, whatever, a soldier, and he was much more than a thug. He was a bright, brilliant, intelligent man who could have helped the community and the world in many different ways at some point. He was taken away far too soon. Yes, he was young, wild, and rambunctious, as many of us are at that age of 25 years old. But many individuals just feel like he overstepped his boundaries because he wasn't a gang member. He was not a Crip. He was not a Blood. He was hanging out with the Bloods and all of that, but he was not an official member. And when you go and put your hands on a real member, put your hands on a Crip or stump out a Crip or whatever, then oftentimes you're asking for trouble, even if you are a member. If you was from a hood and now your hoods are into it. If you're not a member, you're really asking for trouble.
Just 3 days after the awards, Tupac and others attack an LA gang member in a hotel lobby after a Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas, believed to be in response to an earlier assault against someone affiliated with Death Row.
According to BG Knockout, who was close with Anderson and described the incident in a later Vlad TV interview, Anderson got his arms up over his face during the beating, and that reflex kept the worst of it off him. Hotel security broke it up. Las Vegas Metro officers who were posted inside the MGM tried to get Anderson to file a complaint. He declined. He walked outside, caught a cab to the Treasure Island Hotel on the Strip where Keefe D and other Southside Compton Crips were staying, and told them what happened. Within a few hours, they had a plan to kill Tupac at Club 662, the Las Vegas venue Suge Knight owned, where Tupac was scheduled to perform that night. They waited outside. After about half an hour, some of Anderson's crew lost their...
Now, this is all alleged that they had a plan to unalive Tupac, and who even unalived Tupac. I mean, someone, we all do know that Keefe D, the uncle of Baby Lane here, has been arrested as of late for the unaliving of Tupac. Took 30 years nearly to arrest anyone for it, but I'm going to assume that he's basing a lot of this information off of the interviews that Keefe D himself gave. Keefe D himself said during interviews that just that they had planned to unalive Pac, that they were about to go to the 66 Club and 662 Club and look for him, or they went to the club and looked for him or whatever. Keefe D said all of this stuff. That's where they're getting this stuff from. This is why he's in jail.
Keefe D told them to leave. He, Anderson, and two other Crips hit the strip in a rented white Cadillac, looking for Tupac's convoy. A woman in a passing car spotted Tupac and started screaming at him from her window. Tupac was hanging out the window of Suge's black 1996 BMW 750iL. Waving back, Keefe D saw him. He told the driver to turn around.
All the chicks was like, Tupac, Tupac, and he was like, hey, like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. He wouldn't even been out the window. We would have never seen him.
The white Cadillac pulled alongside the BMW at the red light at the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Colville Lane in front of the Maxim Hotel. According to Keefe D's account, recorded by retired LAPD Detective Greg Kading and used in the murder indictment filed against Davis in September 2023, Anderson reached over from the back seat and fired. 4 rounds hit Tupac. Suge Knight, who was driving, took bullet fragments to the head. The BMW swerved, but kept moving. Las Vegas police, who had stopped the car just minutes earlier for a noise violation, pulled up and found the scene. According to Officer Chris Carroll, the first cop on scene, Tupac's last coherent words to him were, "F you."
And I go, what happened, man? I go, who shot you? Who did this? And he started, he's trying to get a breath together. And, he got his breath together and he looked at me and he said, "F you."
At the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, surgeons removed Tupac's right lung. He was placed.
Man. Removed his right lung. Oh, man. Sounds just like Pac, doesn't it? Gathered up his last piece of breath to tell a cop, F you. Cop asking him, who did this to you, man? Who shot you? Pac, I'm sure knows who did it, has an idea anyway. He's not telling on anyone. His last words were, F you, F the police. That's what he on. Oh, man. To this dying day, to this last breath, he stands strong.
On life support. Back in Compton, word moved fast. The mob Piru knew who to blame before the sun came up. For 2 days, the city waited. Tupac was on life support, and in Compton, the streets already had their own version of events. That it was Southside, that it was Baby Lane, that the beating in the MGM lobby had been answered with bullets 3 hours later. Members of Suge Knight's entourage had made it back to Compton by September 8th. By the afternoon of September 9th, with Tupac still alive in a Las Vegas hospital, the Piru sets were moving. Members of the mob Piru, Looters Park Piru, Elm Lane Piru, and Fruittown Piru gathered that afternoon at Looters Park, the park along Looters Avenue at the center of Piru territory on the east side of Compton. The conversation was about going after South Side leadership, not just anyone connected to Vegas, but specific names. Keefe D was on the list. Darnell Brim was on the list. One Piru member who attended described it to investigators later. We know who did it. We know Southside did it.
We, the homies, everybody had a meeting, got down together, and we know who did it. We know Southside did it. Now retaliation is Southside.
Retaliation.
I mean, this is just crazy. Really, the stuff that people do on the internet, the things that people say on the internet. OG members, OG gang members, and all this. Keefe D done just sat here and snitched on himself, snitched on his nephew, Baby Lane, even though his nephew passed away, and obviously they can't prosecute him. He still put it out there to the world. He's still affecting his legacy, if you will, by telling individuals that he unalived Tupac Shakur, his nephew, Baby Lane. So now individuals look at him and look at Baby Lane's family and everything else and say, man, the hell with this dude. Tupac's fans, he has real fans that are willing to die for him, essentially. Still to this day, for that matter. These individuals saying everything on the internet. This individual here, again, Mob James, OG member, Piru, on here saying, on TV, looks like a Vlad TV interview, wherever it was at, whatever interview it was, it's recorded, it's on the internet, with him saying that we all had a meeting. Apparently all these different Piru sets got together, had a meeting at Looters Park, and we all put it on the table. Oh, yeah, the South Side did it. And then that's when all hell broke loose. We on with the South Side. Of course, implying that the Bloods, the Pirus, had Tupac Shakur's back. That they went and put in work for Tupac Shakur, and people lost their life.
is Southside. It's on. That same afternoon, the first shot of the 10-day war was fired. At 2:58 p.m., the gray sedan came through near the 99-cent store at 2430 East Alondra. Darnell Brim caught 5 bullets in the back. 10-year-old Lakiju McNeese was hit in the same drive-by, listed critical.
Well, the first shooting took place 2 days after, and one of the main players of Southside, Darnell Brim, along with the little 10-year-old girl who also got shot, was in critical condition.
That same evening, Jew Road Mac, a Looters Park, Peru, and a man named Johnny Berge were shot in a drive-by in front of 713 North Branfield Street, a known Peru hangout. The car was a blue Chevrolet Blazer, informants told Compton. Police the shooters were Southsiders pushing back into Peru territory the same day they'd been hit. That night, Compton police received a tip about a Southside safe house on Glencoe Avenue. When officers...
And let me just say, while we're on the subject real quick, since we have visual evidence here about the points that I've been making here on the channel, particularly as of late, that, when referring to Rick Child, who killed our young brother, our young child, Cyrus, and got away with it. And of course, George Zimmerman, who did what he did to our young brother, Trayvon Martin, and inexplicably has gotten away with it, not just with the justice system, but apparently with these very strong black men as well. And as I alluded to when I covered that whenever a black man kills another black man, there is an immediate response. That had Trayvon Martin, 17 years old in all, been from a gang, and it was a rival gang member that had come into his own neighborhood and unalived him in the same way that George Zimmerman came to his own neighborhood, Trayvon Martin's neighborhood, followed him and unalived him. Had it been a gang member, Trayvon Martin's gang, these black individuals, these YNs, these tough guys, these killers, would have responded immediately, retaliated immediately. They took him out and they know who did it. They know which gang it was. Sometimes if you don't know which gang it was, you're so upset. And since you don't know who did it, you take it out on all other gangs. You take it out on all of your enemies until someone fesses up to doing it. We're going to crash out on all of y'all then since we don't know who did it. Y'all done came over here and unalived a young homie. There's a response immediately, the same day, hours later, sometimes minutes later. The gang mounts up inside of cars, drives across town with weapons in tow, and has a blazing shootout with the individuals who just came and unalived their brethren. They're looking for retaliation immediately and oftentimes get it. We just see what happened, right? Tupac Shakur taken out, unfortunately, and 2 days later, still some hours, right? 48 hours. One of the leaders of the Southside Crips. They don't just want anyone, as they said during this little meeting that they had at the park, allegedly, reportedly, supposedly, according to these individuals from Peru. Now, I can speak on it. They are on here speaking about it on the internet. According to them, it's crazy.
Searched the duplex. They found an assault rifle, 2 handguns, 7 ski masks, a box of .40 caliber ammunition, and a duffel bag. The Southwest Airlines baggage tag on the bag listed a lot.
What I was saying, I sort of lost my train of thought there for a second, but I was saying that with the Rick Child and the George Zimmerman situation, there's no response. There's no retaliation. When someone other than a black person comes in a neighborhood and unalives a black person, they're good. They're scot-free. Every time. I don't know of any situation where there's been any real retaliation for these individuals killing our children. But boy, let another black man come and kill another black man, which we do all of the time. Another black man is going to lose his life that same day. There's going to be an immediate response, immediate retaliation. In the same way that they responded, took some hours for them to respond about Tupac's situation, even though he wasn't in the gang, he was affiliated, associated with one. Suge Knight affiliated, associated with one. And the only reason that it even took 48 hours is because Tupac was in the hospital. They going to visit him. They wait to see what happens with him, if he's going to live or die, etc. If he'd have died that same day, it'd have been a retaliation that same day. And then just evidence in tow, evidenced by the fact that the individual that was taken out from Southside, his name Donald Brim, reportedly a reputable member who they targeted, they being whomever, shot him 5 times in the back. That same night, that same day, there was retaliation, right? That same day, the Pyrus got shot up. That same day, whoever shot them up, that same day that the Southside got shot in the back and unalive, the Pyrus were attacked. The same day. Immediately. You come over here and take the homie out, what? They mounting up and going back immediately. Police and they don't care about none of that. They ready to die, ready to go to jail, ready for whatever. This is how it works in this retaliation stuff. This is how it works in this culture. But boy, Rick Chow can come over and take the brother out. Ain't nobody jumped in no car with no weapons and went and looked for him and done a damn thing.
Las Vegas address. Residents of the block had already been told by gang members to stay indoors. On September 10th, the shootings went in both directions. A Looters Park Piru was hit on Branfield Street, a drive-by from a blue Chevrolet Blazer. Informants pointing to South Side. That same afternoon on the same block, Gary Williams, the brother of George Williams, a former death row record security guard, was shot in a drive-by at the corner of Pine and Branfield. The vehicle was a 1986 or 1987 red Nissan. Informants said South Side. On September 11th, Bobby Finch was killed on Mayo Avenue. Finch had grown up in the South Side neighborhood and had friends in the set, but he wasn't a gang member. He'd worked security at clubs. A Honda Civic hatchback came down Mayo Avenue and opened fire. Finch was rushed to Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital and pronounced dead. Informants told Compton detectives the shooters were Mob Peru. Bobby Finch became the first confirmed fatality of the 10-day war. At 4:03 p.m. Pacific Time, Tupac Shakur was pronounced dead at the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. He was 25 years old.
Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
That same day in Compton, a man armed with a revolver walked up on 2 people near 802 South Ward Street and opened fire. The victims were Marcus Childs, of Fruittown, Peru, and Timothy Flanagan, an Elm Lane, Peru. Both were killed. A bystander was also wounded. Informants identified the shooter as a member of the Southside Crips, or their allied set, the Chester Street Crips. In the 12 hours that followed, 5 more people were shot and wounded across the border between Southside and Peru territory.
Damn. In the 5 hours that followed, 5 more people were shot. In 5 hours. Back and forth within hours in real time. Come shoot, what? Mount up, strap up, go shoot them back, go shoot them back, go shoot them back. Brothers, goodness, man, we some cold killers, boy. I mean, we don't play. You better not touch one of our homeboys. But we don't play. we coming back immediately. We some men, we some riders, we some gangsters. We not going for it. We're not afraid to pick up a weapon and use it. All of that can be said as it relates only to another black man. If it's anyone else, don't say any of that stuff. It doesn't count.
A Chester Street Crip, the rest, Piru members. On September 14th, Looters Park Piru members drove to 121 North Chester Street, directly in Chester Street Crips territory, stopped the car, got out on foot, spotted 3 Crips on the block, and opened fire. All 3 were hit. Robert Ladd, working the Southside case for Compton PD during those 10 days, described it years later in a Vlad TV interview. "We've had many gang wars before. Nobody cares because it's gangbangers killing gangbangers. This one got put on the radar because of Tupac and Suge, but this was a good one. I'm not going to lie."
We've had many gang wars before, but this was high profile stuff, because of course Tupac get shot. So.
By the time the shooting slowed, Compton police and LA County Sheriff's deputies were logging over 40 gang-related calls from the area that week.
Yeah, one thing he said that's true, AR or not. We've had gang wars before. Many gang members are killed, but we don't care because they're just gang members. See? This is what they feel about you, black man. This is what they feel about your life. Your life doesn't matter. Your life is disposable. Since it is disposable to yourself and to us as a whole, since we dispose of one another as if our lives don't matter, then they don't matter to anyone else either. Why would they? It makes no sense. He just said it all, a mouthful right there. Many gang wars, but we don't care about these gang wars. We don't care about these individuals who've lost their lives because they're gang bangers. Well, no, they're not just gang bangers. They're human beings who happen to be in a gang. They're people who will one day get out of the gang and perhaps move society forward. You don't know. They never had the chance because they were cut down. They're human beings is what they are.
Described
and you should care.
Conditions around Southside territory as comparable to open combat. Orlando Anderson wasn't sitting it out. According to BG Knockout, speaking on Vlad TV years later, Anderson was shot in the legs with an AK-47 during the 10-day war and spent time in a wheelchair recovering. He was still a primary target. Both sides knew exactly who he was. 3 weeks after Tupac's death, Compton police coordinated the largest gang operation the city had mounted in years. 300 officers swept the homes of known gang members on both sides of the conflict in a single night. Anderson was taken in along with 2 of his closest friends, DeAndre Smith and Terrence Brown. 2 homicide detectives flew in from Las Vegas, specifically to interview them. Ladd was in the building. According to Ladd, the Vegas detectives had their notes on the shooting, but not on the people sitting across from them. They weren't prepared or had the know-how to talk to gang members, he said. The interview produced nothing. Anderson was released. He was never charged with Tupac's murder. In September 1997, Afeni Shakur filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Anderson, naming him as the man who killed her son. Anderson told the Los Angeles Times in 1997 he had been a fan of Tupac's music. He denied killing him. The lawsuit was still unresolved the day he died. Orlando Anderson was 23 years old. Early that morning, Utah Williams, the 85-year-old matriarch of Anderson's family, died in a local hospital after a fall. His mother Charlotte stayed at the hospital. Anderson went home to wait. In the early afternoon, he drove to Alondra Boulevard, the same street where Darnell Brim had been shot on September 9, 1996, and pulled into Rob's car wash at the intersection with Oleander Avenue, across from Compton High School. He spotted Michael Stone and his nephew Jerry Stone at the car wash. Both were corner pocket Crips. Anderson believed Michael Stone owed him drug money. A dispute broke out. According to witnesses, Anderson's companion Michael Reed Doro initially talked Jerry Stone into putting down a weapon he had drawn. Then, Anderson pulled his own gun. Shots were fired. Anderson hit Jerry Stone. The Stones fired back. Anderson took a round to the chest. Doro picked up Anderson's gun after he went down and kept shooting, killing Michael Stone. By the time Compton police arrived, 4 men were on the pavement. Anderson, Michael Stone, and Jerry Stone were all taken to Martin Luther King Jr. Drew Medical Center in Willowbrook. All three were pronounced dead. Doro was arrested at the scene, convicted of triple murder, including the death of his own friend, and sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms. Officers tried to get a statement from Anderson before he died. He gave them the same answer Tupac had given Officer Carroll on Flamingo Road. His uncle Dwayne, Keefe D. Davis, who admitted to being in the white Cadillac the night Tupac was shot and claimed he passed Anderson the gun, wasn't arrested until September 29, 2023. His trial
September 29, 2023. 27 years after Pac's murder is when he was arrested. Though he was going around on the internet, of course, taking credit for it, snitching on himself, if you will. And it's crazy how Baby Lane, Orlando Anderson, as we just heard, ended up losing his life. It's a well-known story in the city of Compton in Los Angeles, what happened there, but he just narrated it pretty much. I mean, not long after Pac's death, 2 years or so, 1998, Orlando pulled up with this guy there and saw 2 dudes who supposedly owed him money. Words were exchanged. One of the dudes put out a weapon. The dude that was with Orlando talked him down. Man, put your weapon up, man. Whatever he said. Y'all can squabble. Y'all can fight. He put his weapon down. He put his weapon up. And when he put his weapon up, apparently Baby Lane drew down at that time. Woo! Opened fire, and he got his weapon back out. They all shooting each other. And then unalived each other, basically. It was 4 of them all together, 3 of them dead. They shooting at each other and they killed each other. And then the one individual got stuck with all 3 murders. Because if you're there, you're going to be a part of it. There you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's all the back and forth that was going on in Compton, California at the time of Tupac's untimely death. Individuals were losing their lives. Shootings were going on back and forth. 10-year-old girl then got shot and was in critical condition. And this, of course, all triggered by Tupac's brutal death itself. This had agitated, frustrated, and upset many people around the world, clearly. But, of course, right there, individuals that he was associated with felt like they had to avenge his death in some way, apparently. There was a lot of back and forth going on at that time. Thankfully, the issues were somewhat resolved, if you will. I mean, the war had slowed down. There were not as many shootings and as many deaths. Not long after his death, things had quieted down some. Because these wars are very volatile and they take a lot of people's lives. Black men's lives, no one else's. It's never anyone else. There you have it. Tupac Shakur, rest in peace. A lot happened before his death and right after his death, which is the way in the culture. We all have to do better and put our weapons down. Stay safe and stay free, people.